I know this community, and I treat every client's goals like my own.
Call Jeff today or visit BlueOakRealtyGroup.com. Outstanding service. Smart moves. That's Blue Oak Realty Group.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us at Thrive here live with the town of Huntersville. I am so excited to be joined by two other mayors and also my mentors, Mayor Rusty Knox from town of Davidson and Mayor Woody Washam from town of Cornelius. And I figured I'd kick us off with what is happening in your town. Tell us.
Wow. That's a long list on the Cornelius side of things.
Well, what's
and I guess
hot?
I'm going to jump in first because we're the C-Town, right?
Yes.
So we're going alphabetical here. But thank you for having us. I think it's very timely to be a part of your show, Christy. We've talked about it for a while, but we just got the schedule worked out, and that's awesome. So, I guess if you talk about what's happening in Cornelius, we're just off of a great event this past Saturday night called Laketoberfest. And there were so many people there. My goodness, I got up on that stage and it was a mass of people in front of me. It's a little bit scary, actually, but another great event in our parks. And, we sort of do a good job in sharing those events with all of our towns, and that's a good thing. That's just kind of how we work together. But that's just fresh on my mind. A lot of awesome things going on in our Parks and Rec departments. And we all have awesome park and rec departments. That's what's so good about it. When you add up all the events and just wonderful things with camps and everything going on in Parks and Rec, we really serve this area quite well. And I think that's something to be proud of. Other than that, our town board just made a really big decision. I guess it was a couple Mondays ago now, to buy a plat of land on Bailey Road, an important piece of land that's 36 acres right across from our existing Bailey Road Park. Our existing Bailey Road Park is about 75 acres, and this is 36 additional acres to that. And I will say, I get asked all the time, well, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? Well, let me just say, folks, it is zoned rural preservation. And I sure don't have any intent for that to change. So I think it's a part of a bigger picture for our town in expanding our green space. And that's so important because if we don't do that now, we're not going to be able to afford to do it in the future. So that's an important decision that we are just coming off of. And, other than that, it's just this campaign season. Mm-hmm. And I know you experiencing that, Mayor Christie, as well. And that's just like taking on another job, isn't it?
It is.
It really is. So we're all in the midst of that and looking forward to early voting starting, I think, at my town hall and maybe in your area on the 23rd of October. Yep. So it's coming up, and I hope people will vote. Mm-hmm. The turnout with the voters has not always been what I would like it to be, but I can't understand why people don't vote. Come on, people, get out and vote. That's important.
Yes.
So, we're going to be working hard to turn out the vote. Certainly, I hope they will vote for me and you, but and Rusty, because Rusty's got to have at least one vote to win. So,
exactly.
So anyway, a lot more than that going on in our town. We're talking a lot about the transit tax. I know we're going to circle back to that in our presentation today. So I'll stop there and let somebody else talk.
All right, Mayor Knox.
Well, we are coming off a very crowded weekend in Davidson. It was Parents' Weekend at Davidson College. So I was dishing out pancakes at 9:00 Saturday morning at the fire station that we do every year. And then walked over to the farmer's market after that. And instead of the normal 2,500 or so people at the farmer's market, it was more like 4,000 people at the farmer's market. The restaurants just got it handed to them. I went and grabbed a quick dinner at Kindred last night, and I was talking to the guy at the bar, and he said it just, and everybody in town was the same way with that many parents, with the weather being the way it was. It was a good weekend for all of our small businesses in town. I'll touch briefly since Woody was talking about Parks and Rec. We are under official construction with rehab of our gymnasium behind our town hall at 251 South Street. This is a building that was constructed in 1937. It's the last gymnasium designed by that architect that's still standing in Mecklenburg County. And with the grant we got from the county, plus some town taxpayer dollars, we're going to be able to pull off our first indoor Parks and Rec programming facility that will have youth basketball, volleyball. There will be 2 pickleball courts lined off on the courts inside, but just for Parks and Rec programming, where we don't have a shared use agreement with CMS or Ada Jenkins or anything. We'll have our own facility. So I'm really excited about seeing the fences go up and the windows come out and things like that. We're doing the final engineering on expanding our greenway from Narrow Passage into Fisher Farm, which was a link that we worked years to get, and that'll help not complete the circle for the greenways in our town, but really expand it. And I'm so proud of our 3 towns with our greenways right now, because now I can leave Davidson on a bicycle and I can get all the way to Huntersville on a greenway.
We tried to provide you a brewery you could stop at on the way, Rusty. I think that's going to be really awesome.
It will be once it gets there. I'll probably
Fingers
be
crossed.
one of those that
Exactly.
stops there. But it's just a great time right now. I mean, we do have 6 candidates running for 5 seats. I'm running unopposed. So, like Woody said, I need 1 vote, and I hope I can rely on my wife to do that. But it's still important. It's so important to get out in and off your election. Because not only are you going to be voting for your mayors and your town council persons, but you're going to be voting for our District 1 school board representative, as well as the transit tax that's on the ballot. So every vote counts in an off-year election. It shouldn't matter. You should get out and vote every time there's an election. So I'll reiterate what Mayor Washam said. Just get out and vote, folks. It's just not that hard.
That's right. It is. Well, in the town of Huntersville, we had something super exciting happen this past weekend. We had our very first Diwali festival. And so Diwali is an Indian holiday, they described it to me as like Christmas and New Year's combined. It's a festival of lights. And so we had probably about 500 families, Indian families at Veterans Park. And I got to dress in Indian dress. If you look at my Facebook page, you can see me in my Indian dress. And they had performances of dancing, Indian dancing from all different kinds of groups came, and they had judging. They had art contest, and then beautiful setup of flowers and decorations around all around Veterans Park. And so it was just really exciting to bring that large South Asian community together. And the folks were so appreciative and so grateful for that. But then next up is our town hall is nearing completion, and so we'll start moving in late October. And it's going to be really exciting. And I hope that the new board, when they're in December, can be sworn in there. I think and that's our goal, to make that happen. And it's going to be really exciting. The new boardroom is absolutely beautiful. And so we will keep talking when we get back from commercial. We have lots more to talk about with voting and relationships and transit tax. So stay with us.
You live here, you work here, you thrive here. It's Thrive Here Live, sponsored in part by Blue Oak Realty Group. Back with more, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
We're kicking off a new work week around Lake Norman with some dry weather. Still a bit breezy, though, for our Monday. We'll call it partly cloudy. Afternoon high temperatures should make it back into the mid-70s. Overnight, we'll drop into the mid-50s. Staying dry for much of the work week, and we'll get a little bit warmer, right near 80 for our Tuesday. And Wednesday, we'll cool it back off a little bit into the mid-70s to finish off the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville is having their Thirsty Thursdays tournament on October 16th. Visit the 500 Club online for more information on tee times, memberships, and club events. Monday, October 20th is Potter and Potions Night at 158 on Main in Mooresville. Wizards, witches, and muggles unite to raise money for the National Kidney Foundation. Doors open at 5 p.m. with the fun beginning at 6:30 for this 18 and over event. Help the National Kidney Foundation, October 20th at 158 on Main. It's almost time for Halloween in Huntersville. Join us Sunday, October 26th for an evening of family fun from 4 to 7 p.m. There's a big surprise finale at 7 when we light up the night sky. Admission, parking, and activities are all free. Halloween in Huntersville is presented by WSIC, Howard Hanna Allen Tate Real Estate, and ABS Kids. On Halloween night, WSIC is bringing the Rocky Horror Picture Show to the Charles Mack Citizen Center in Mooresville. The VIP experience begins at 6 p.m. with showtime at 8. Tickets are on sale right now at WSICnews.com. The Dirt Track at Charlotte Motor Speedway presents the World Short Track Championships October 31st and November 1st. And then the World of Outlaws World Finals are November 5th through the 8th. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 23rd. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Looking to sell or buy in Huntersville or Lake Norman?
Hi, I'm Jeff Sny, owner and managing broker of Blue Oak Realty Group. Here's the truth. Your needs don't pause for the market. Whether you need more space, less space, or just the right fit, I'll help you create a smart strategy that makes sense for your family and your goals. With over a decade of experience right here in Lake Norman, I know this community, and I treat every client's goals like my own.
Call Jeff today or visit BlueOakRealtyGroup.com. Outstanding service, smart moves. That's Blue Oak Realty Group. All right, we're back with more from the town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
I did it again. Welcome back to the town of Huntersville Thrive Here Live. I'm here with Mayors Rusty Knox and Woody Washam, and we left off. We were talking about what's happening in the town of Huntersville, and our board just did a big decision last week as well. We purchased some land on Sanford on 73 for a new fire station. You know, last in the 2024, we made our municipal fire department, and because of that, we've expanded our employees, but some of our fire stations are pretty old, and our fire station number 2 is one of the oldest, and it's actually still on a septic line there, and doesn't even have actual plumbing there. So, and it doesn't have a place for our female firefighters to sleep. And so we have determined we need a bigger, better place for them. And so we'll be building a new fire station for them, and we're super excited about that as well. So that's coming up in the future. But I kind of left off with the town hall, which is super exciting for us. We hope we can get sworn in there. It's beautiful. The edifice who's been leading that project has done a fantastic job. It's gone super smoothly. And so we're waiting to kind of see what will happen with our old town hall. It's not going to be housing. It's not going to be apartments. That's the big worry. Everyone always thinks it's going to be turned into an apartment building or something like that. That is not what's happening. We've done it so that it has to be retail or commercial space. So we want a restaurant. We want some other things like that to help continue to revitalize our downtown. And speaking of that, our Cashin space, we just put a beautiful new piece of art in there. It is recycled turbines from windmills that have been painted with a beautiful mural about the town of Huntersville. And so that's a thing you can stop by and see. And that spot will continue to be developed as time goes on. We're waiting for DEQ to sign off on it. After, it's a brownfield as a gas station, so it makes it difficult to develop. You can't just develop on a gas station land. You've got to clean the oil up, clean the glass, clean the soil, monitor, do all these things. And just doesn't mean you can just plop something there right away. And then we also have another area of a grass strip that should be some news being announced about that in the near future as well. So
you know what, Rusty, I think you'll agree with this. I think Huntersville ought to bring back Neil's Drugstore. Don't you? What a place that was. The food counter. We had some good time there.
We used to stop there on the way home from high school all the time. And
yeah.
I was actually graduated from high school with Delia Neal.
Exactly.
So
I was with Walt.
okay.
Yeah.
And
Oh my
then
gosh.
Their sister Diane
Yes.
was my English teacher. in
Really?
North
What a great
Mecklenburg.
family.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, man, great family.
And that, is that where Slice House Pizza is now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that used to be Loopy's. Now I miss Loopy's.
Yes, I bet you do. So, so my two favorite places in Huntersville was the Old Rock Store.
Yeah.
I think it's gone now, near North Mecklenburg High School, and Neil's Drugstore. So,
Yeah.
and then Cashin's comes along. But anyway,
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, Christy, my youngest son was in town this weekend for his birthday from Durham, and he normally comes in on he takes 40 to 77 to come into town, but he came in on 85 and couldn't get off for some reason, so he ended up getting on 485 to the Huntersville exit and came through downtown Huntersville, and he called me. He says, Cashin's isn't here anymore, and it looks so good.
Yeah, it looks so good. Now, Commissioner Rivers, who is a native Huntersvillian, her family's been here since, before the dawn of time. She's a little spicy at me for getting rid of the Cashins, but I felt like it was something we needed to do just to get the ball rolling and improving downtown. It was, and the Cashins family was ready too. We didn't take it from them. They were open and willing. It was, amicable negotiation there. So
it's Huntersville has kicked the can for too long, and you guys are doing a bang up job downtown. Downtown Huntersville is something to be proud of, with knowing that you've got the wine place Corkscrew
Corkscrew is
coming in.
coming.
You got 760 right there.
Yep.
The new town hall and Discovery. I mean, it's really vibrant, and it's good to see.
The Dumpling Girls started working on the little White House next to where the Corkscrew is going to be. And there is hopefully a big announcement coming for the last spot in Holbrook for what's coming there. And I'm super excited about it. And I can't share yet, but I hope that they'll announce soon what it's going to be. It's going to make people very happy. So we're super excited.
it's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, when I started off this call saying that y'all are my mentors, and I think that's something that I want to hit on and touch on and remind people of the relationship the three of us have and how strong it is. I talk about it all the time about how we have a regional approach to things and how we get along really well. And it's something I really value is that, if we have a problem or we have an idea that we can share and bounce off of each other, we're just willing to cooperate and work together to get things done. And it's one of the most powerful things I think up here is that I feel like we've really unified and moving North Mac forward together, just the three of us. And so I'm really excited to see hopefully what we can do in the next 2 years.
Well, it is exciting, isn't it? I mean, it really is. The collaboration that we have had as three mayors here in North Mecklenburg, I think it made a difference. It certainly made a difference as it related to our clout, if you will, in the bigger Charlotte region as we designed and created the transit bill that went to Raleigh. And as a collaboration together, we got that thing passed, and it wasn't partisan. It was a totally nonpartisan issue, and it was amazing how much support that ended up having. It wasn't easy to get it that way, but it took us all working together to do that. Don't you agree, Rusty?
Well, I do, and I wrote something down for this morning. When you talk about collaboration and working together, I think it's important for people to know that Republican Senator Vicky Sawyer introduced the transportation bill initially, with many other counties wanting the same type of legislation. Republican Representative Tricia Cawthon introduced the PAVE Act under the direction of Republicans Tim Moore and Phil Berger in the House and Senate, respectively, for the Roads First finance model. The Senate voted 39-3 to approve this. The House voted 101-5. 90% of all the elected officials in Mecklenburg County voted in favor of sending this to the county commission to be placed on the ballot. 100% of the 7 towns voted in favor of the MOU for the creation of the MPTA. It's clearly less about politics and more about the progress than any of the deflectors care to acknowledge. This, for us in North Mecklenburg, is the largest economic development driver since Lake Norman was created. And when you look at this, it is completely nonpartisan. It has been since day one.
Yep.
To see Democrats and Republicans being on the same side of a bill this important for our region lets you know that the driver behind this is getting us out of the gridlock that we've been just hammered with because of the popularity of our area and the growth in the county as a whole.
For sure. And I can tell you, having been in the General Assembly, that an issue like this that might be considered, I don't know, somewhat controversial maybe, it's pretty rare that you get that large of a, vote behind the bill for bipartisan support. It might come down to like 1 or 2 votes crossing the line, but, the large swath of legislators supporting it is unusual. And I've been telling folks, if they don't want to vote for it, like this is our last chance, because it'll be really hard to get something this complex and complicated through again, especially next year. The legislature will be up for election, and they're not going to be worried about what a sales tax is in Mecklenburg County or transportation in Mecklenburg County. They're going to be worried about other things. And, it's always kind of wild in the General Assembly during election year. And so this is our chance. And if we miss this chance to do this, it'll be devastating.
Well, you've heard send it back to the legislature to get a better deal. If you sent this back to the legislature, you'd never hear from them again. It would evaporate and we'd be stuck.
Well, and people need to understand there is no plan B.
Right.
There's absolutely no plan B. So, if you don't want roads, okay, sit in gridlock. If you don't think that in 8 to 10 years we're going to need another alternative for transit in our community, then vote no. That's really what you ought to do. And my advice to folks is please study this.
Mm-hmm.
Please get the information. I do believe if you study it long enough and hard enough that you will come out and understand the need for this additional revenue brought right back to our region. If you add it up between our 3 towns, you're talking about $100 million. $100 million, folks,
Mm-hmm.
in 5 years for roads, to build roads in our community. And, it's the citizens in Cornelius, I will assure you, their top priority is roads and transportation. So there you go.
Yep. All 3 towns have on our websites a webpage dedicated to the transit tax that's just the facts. So there's no one side or the other, which is more important. It's just all the details. And I think that's a great place to go because there's been a lot of rumors going around about what the bill says and what the bill doesn't say. A lot of them are wrong. And so going there is the place to go to make sure that you have the correct information about what the transit tax can and will do for this area. And that's really the key to it, is studying.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think when you look at the bigger picture on this, Norfolk Southern didn't change their posture and say, hey, we're okay with passenger rail in our corridor. That's not what happened. This was a monetary decision for them with the train crash that happened up in East Palestine, Ohio, with $800 million in EPA and lawsuit settlements. This was a financial decision. And if this doesn't pass, and Charlotte carries it to next year's ballot and it doesn't pass, they're not going to carry this $78 million debt. Norfolk Southern has the first right of refusal to buy this thing back, and they're going to monetize this corridor. And if that means freight cars coming through our towns, that's how they'll monetize it.
Exactly. That's what we'll have, too.
Yeah.
Well, we will pick up with this discussion about the transit tax and rail when we come back from commercial. You're on with Thrive here live in the town of Huntersville.
You live here, you work here, you thrive here. It's Thrive Here Live, sponsored in part by Blue Oak Realty Group. Back with more, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
We're kicking off a new work week around Lake Norman with some dry weather. Still a bit breezy, though, for our Monday. We call it partly cloudy. Afternoon high temperatures should make it back into the mid-70s. Overnight, we'll drop into the mid-50s. Staying dry for much of the work week, and we'll get a little bit warmer. Right near 80 for our Tuesday, and Wednesday we'll cool it back off a little bit into the mid-70s to finish off the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
cakes and cookies, toys and gifts.
The Southern Christmas Show, November 13th through 23rd at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Save on tickets at southernchristmasshow.com, courtesy of Kraft Body Scan.
The Southern Christmas Show.
Looking to sell or buy in Huntersville or Lake Norman?
Hi, I'm Jeff Snide, owner and managing broker of Blue Oak Realty Group. Here's the truth. Your needs don't pause for the market. Whether you need more space, less space, or just the right fit, I'll help you create a smart strategy that makes sense for your family and your goals. With over a decade of experience right here in Lake Norman, I know this community, and I treat every client's goals like my own.
Call Jeff today or visit blueoakrealtygroup.com. Outstanding service, smart moves. That's Blue Oak Realty Group.
Hi, this is Bob McIntosh with the McIntosh Law Firm in Davidson. Since 1997, we have been committed to providing our clients with competent, caring, and experienced legal services. Learn more at McIntoshLawFirm.com.
Jay White here from Centralina Realty. At Centralina Realty, we believe it's all about you. If it's time to sell your home, don't go it alone. Put the team here at Centralina Realty to work for you. Go to CentralinaRealty.com and let's get started.
Harrison's is the home of Work Western, and wow! For nearly 30 years, our family has been boots on the ground when it comes to work. We have the largest selection of in-stock boots in the Carolinas and the best workwear brands like Harriet, Carhartt, and Wrangler. Find us on Norman Station Boulevard in Mooresville.
The button pushing stops here.
WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The Trump administration backtracking on the additional 100% tariff President Trump threatened on all imports from China. And the administration is now signaling it's open to striking a trade deal with Beijing. Amazon.com says it plans to create 250,000 full and part-time jobs in the U.S. this holiday season, many of them in rural areas. Full-time employees can earn an average of $23 an hour. With benefits, seasonal workers can get over $19 an hour. Two tech giants teaming up. OpenAI has signed a multi-year agreement with Broadcom. They'll be collaborating on custom-made AI computer chips and data center networking equipment. Shares of Warner Brothers Discovery getting some attention. Sources say the media giant has rejected an initial takeover offer from rival Paramount Skydance for being way too low. And demand for gas is now at a 4-month low, according to the U.S. Energy Information Administration. AAA says that'll likely lead to lower prices at the pump in the coming weeks. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Don't miss a thing. Download the WSIC News app today. WSIC. Local starts here. All right, we're back with more from the town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
All right, welcome back to Thrive Here Live, the town of Huntersville. We were just talking about the train and the transit tax and all the things that might come with that. And I was going to, you were going where I was going, Mayor Knox, about, the city of Charlotte already owns the line, and I think that's a big misconception out there. They think the line still has to be purchased. And then they've already purchased the line, so that puts us ahead in the construction. Like, yes, it will be, a 10 to 15-year construction schedule, but having already owning the line and Norfolk Southern being required to do repairs to, which they're actively doing right now, we're going to be ahead of a schedule. And so that's something that is a huge benefit just for the plan in general.
Well, you can sit here and think about, I asked some of my citizens to do this. What in the world is, with all of our downtowns developing, redeveloping and all that, what in the world is gridlock going to be like in 8 to 10 years if we don't have this transit system? I couldn't imagine what that's going to be like. And if we don't if we don't get this on the table now, then it won't happen for the next 30 years probably. Mm-hmm. So we got an opportunity to make it happen in 8 to 10 years. There's no work really begun on it other than just some minor work, as you said, on the rail. But, the engineering and the massive amount of environmental studies and things like that have to occur haven't even begun yet. So they can't begin until we know there's revenue behind it to make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think you hear so many people, because you're planning for the future. We should have planned for the future a long time ago. That's why the general purpose lanes on I-77 north and south are a parking lot every day, because we didn't plan for the future early enough. And folks are saying, well, quit approving houses. Well, what if What if my predecessors said that in the 70s when Davidson was 1,500 people? What if we said, quit approving houses, you can't move here anymore? That's not the way it works. Landowners have rights. They're going to sell their land. It's up to your elected officials sitting here on this radio station today and our elected boards to make sure that we are good stewards of our towns and how we proceed moving forward with development projects. It's I know Christy alluded to a piece of land that on Sanford Road earlier that's gone under contract, which was the last dairy farm in Mecklenburg County. And, you know, I look at that as whatever 200 some houses on a couple hundred acres was a heck of a lot better than a water park.
Yes.
So, you know, it's again, being good stewards of what comes to our towns is so important. And we are going to continue to grow. If we don't continue to grow, we're going to die. And it's not just about growth to keep us vibrant and alive, but people move here because of quality of life, because of good schools, because of proximity to the 6th largest airport in the world, because of corporate headquarters that are located, because of good education for our children, good college base, good technical colleges and things like that. That's what gets people coming here day in and day out. And we should embrace that. I mean, everybody talks about Charlotte being the big bad wolf. Well, if you want to feel that way, that's fine. But understand, we live and die on Charlotte's success. If Charlotte dies, we all die. So
You
just
know,
remember that.
talking about growth, Rusty, you know, we have a lot of conversation in Cornelius about that. The perception is that, you know, we're just growing like weed and all this kinds of stuff. And it's just not true. I don't think it's as true. Huntersville's growing a little more than we are, but, you know, they got a lot more land than we do.
Yeah.
So there's reasons for all that. But, you know, my town is growing less than 1% over the past, if you average the last 4 years, less than 1%. But it's strategic growth, the growth that we're having. You know, I'll have somebody just jumping up and down about growth. And then I'll say to them, well, would you like to have a Trader Joe's here? Oh, yeah, we'd love to have a Trader Joe's here.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that. Mayor Clark's working on that. Mayor Carney's working on that. And probably Mayor Knox. I don't know.
No, they passed us over.
Well,
We're
you
not
know,
big enough.
We would love to have that kind of development here. And I think our citizens would too. So we want the kind of development our citizens want, but at the same time, we're going to be cautious. We're going to be strategic about it, and we've got to get this infrastructure in place along with all that. So that's what we're working so hard on.
Yeah, the town of Huntersville just did. I had the planning department analyze all the housing that's been approved by either by right or by boards in the past. And so in the year 2021, that was the year our big spike of approvals of projects happened. And now all those projects are coming to fruition. And so, because you know, it takes like 3 to 5 years to get something out of the ground. So here they are, they're being built right now. And we noticed that right away, like all these things are coming out of the ground at the same time. And so we inherently
You get blamed, don't you?
Yeah, we get blamed, but we also slowed it down on our own
Right.
because we became very picky about what projects, because we're not huge fans of some of the ones that got approved in the past. And so we have started slowing it down on our own, and we're going to start taking steps to like kind of pull back on it a little bit to, you know, because we need to let those be built and work on the infrastructure with our roads bond that we have, and hopefully with this 1 cent sales tax that will help us out. We got to do a little more things, and we're going to slow it down a little bit. And we did it already, and now we're going to keep doing it because, you know, there are so many apartments going up, and they were from around 2021, 2023. They are not us. So feel free to email me, and I'll send you the presentation.
We sure have that that perception as well. And there has been no apartments approved, and I certainly wouldn't condone that either. We got to get caught up. We got to get caught up on our roads and our infrastructure for sure. And we got a ways to go. I mean, we've got projects hanging out there. You got a lot of projects, don't you?
We have a ton.
And, you know, we've got 7 approved, 3 under contract right now, and 3 more coming toward the first of the year. And then West Catawba right behind that. But work's being done on 7 projects. That's a lot for a little town our size. And, and you've got a lot for a town your size.
Yeah, I don't even know the number, but I'm excited about our Town 1 project that is Joey Logano's project. It's coming in on Hambright, and they're going to be breaking ground coming up soon in the next month or so. And that'll be a way to draw people to the other side of Huntersville. And so not everyone will have to go to Birkdale to have restaurants and shopping. There'll be a new place for them to go. And I think that'll help a lot with congestion on 73. But, we got to get it out of the ground. And so they're on their way to start doing that. I'm excited about it.
Well, I think for our communities as a whole, if you look at the future expansion of Highway 73, it's going to be advantageous for all of us. I mean, I got stuck in the Renaissance Festival traffic this weekend by mistake, and I was just trying to go to Concord, and I forgot all about the Renaissance Festival, and I just turned around. I was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm good. But, when you look at growth, land availability controls the growth. I mean, we've approved in the 8 years I've been mayor, we've only approved about 600 homes. And in the 10 years prior to me being mayor, there were about 3,600 homes approved. And that's not on the previous mayor and the previous board. That's on parcels of land, large parcels of land that came available for sale for development. Those large parcels don't really exist in Davidson anymore. I can count on one hand the number of parcels that are over 100 acres that are left in our town right now. So we didn't slow development down. If those other parcels came up for development, if utilities could be provided, then they would develop. And at some point down the road, they may. I'm just kind of happy right now that most of those landowners are fine with their properties being farms. And I want to keep them there as long as I can. We're fortunate to have about 800 acres of preserved land in Davidson of our 37,000 acres we have in our 5 square miles, and we have almost 800 acres that's in land preservation, that's parks, and it's owned by either the town of Davidson, private individuals, or owned by Mecklenburg County. And, that stuff is gold. It's going to disappear. So I think all 3 of our towns, under our leadership, and honestly, the people that came before us to a large part, we're concerned about green space. We're concerned about keeping as much farm preservation as we could, so we didn't lose our complete rural identities.
Yeah, and I saw a post this weekend, a couple posts that really are interesting. One was bring back the cows. Well, you know what? I mean, you had the big old Wallace Farms. I remember that. My friends were owned that, and my goodness, we had a couple big farms on Catawba over time, the Westmorelands and the Alexanders,
Farms,
and you guys had the same thing out Gray Road. Beautiful property, but gosh, I would love to promise that if I put that in my platform, I would be a landslide. It would be a landslide vote toward me, but I can't honestly do that. I just can't do that. I just think the ship has sailed. We're all working on our downtown, and so many people say on Facebook, "Oh, it'll never be the same again." Well, no, we really won't. But we want to be better. We really just want to be better.
And I wish that the farmers could keep going as farms, as much as they want to. But they're aging. Their children and grandchildren don't want to be farmers in this day and age. And so we can't stop them from exercising their property rights. And so that makes the decision tough, but and it makes the cows go away, but it's not something that we can't stand in the way of their rights. Well, we are going to a break, and we will be right back in just a minute. You are on with Thrive Here Live for the town of Huntersville.
Sit tight. We'll be back with more after this on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
We're kicking off a new work week around Lake Norman with some dry weather. Still a bit breezy, though, for our Monday. We call it partly cloudy. Afternoon high temperatures should make it back into the mid-70s. Overnight, we'll drop into the mid-50s. Staying dry for much of the work week, and we'll get a little bit warmer, right near 80 for our Tuesday. And Wednesday, we'll cool it back off a little bit into the mid-70s to finish off the week. That's your forecast. From the WSIC Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville is having their Thirsty Thursdays tournament on October 16th. Visit the 500 Club online for more information on tee times, memberships, and club events. Monday, October 20th is Potter and Potions Night at 158 on Main in Mooresville. Wizards, witches, and muggles unite to raise money for the National Kidney Foundation. Doors open at 5 p.m. with the fun beginning at 6:30 for this 18 and over event. Help the National Kidney Foundation, October 20th at 158 on Main. It's almost time for Halloween in Huntersville. Join us Sunday, October 26th for an evening of family fun from 4 to 7 p.m. There's a big surprise finale at 7 when we light up the night sky. Admission, parking, and activities are all free. Halloween in Huntersville is presented by WSIC, Howard Hanna Allen Tate Real Estate, and ABS Kids. On Halloween night, WSIC is bringing the Rocky Horror Picture Show to the Charles Mack Citizen Center in Mooresville. The VIP experience begins at 6 p.m. with showtime at 8. Tickets are on sale right now at WSICnews.com. The Dirt Track at Charlotte Motor Speedway presents the World Short Track Championships October 31st and November 1st. And then the World of Outlaws World Finals are November 5th through the 8th. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for more information.
The Renaissance Festival is back Saturdays and Sundays now through November 23rd. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Looking to sell or buy in Huntersville or Lake Norman?
Hi, I'm Jeff Snyder, owner and managing broker of Blue Oak Realty Group. Here's the truth. Your needs don't pause for the market. Whether you need more space, less space, or just the right fit, I'll help you create a smart strategy that makes sense for your family and your goals. With over a decade of experience right here in Lake Norman, I know this community, and I treat every client's goals like my own.
Call Jeff today or visit BlueOakRealtyGroup.com. Outstanding service, smart moves. That's Blue Oak Realty Group. All right, we're back with more on the town of Huntersville on WSIC 105.9, 100.7, 1400 AM. Local starts here.
Thank you. We are back with Thrive Here Live in the town of Huntersville, and I still have my mayor mentors here with me. And so we're just talking about development in our three towns and farms and the big changes that have come. And yes, we do all wish that we could keep the cows around, but that's not how reality works. The town of Huntersville has about 16% of our land is protected land that can never be developed. And so I do have a goal of increasing that number as time goes on. I want to make sure that we have more and more green spaces. But that's something that's a long-term goal for sure, as you know, different things happen and align and hopefully all come to fruition to keep growing our protected green space.
I think all of us benefit from Mecklenburg County wanting to expand their parks footprint.
Mm-hmm.
I know just this last year they bought land on two different farms in Davison for a future park, totaling about 70 acres. So that's one less parcel that I have to worry about coming up for rezoning or an annexation for more rooftops.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm proud that the three of us have such a good relationship with Mecklenburg County. Elaine Powell does a wonderful job representing us up here in District 1, and she is very park-centric.
Mm-hmm.
So in her belief, so I think that goes a long way.
She lives it and breathes it, doesn't she?
Yeah, she does. Preservation is her goal, which I think is really fantastic.
I do too. She's helped us quite a bit in that category.
Yes.
And worked hard for county grants for our parks and your parks, I'm sure as well. So, you know, it's just part of this great collaboration that we've got going on between. I think it starts at our level. We have to set the example, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
And I tend to think we do a pretty good job at at doing that. We all went into this knowing each other.
Mm-hmm.
You were our state rep, Christy, and Rusty and I have known each other since childhood, practically. So knew his dad and his whole family, and so you know it's been a it's been an amazing journey for this to all come together. And by working together, we're just stronger for this region. I think that's what makes a difference. And I hope we get to keep on for a couple more years. I really do.
A lot of people don't realize when I say something about I was talking to Christy or I was talking to Woody or I was talking to Chris Carney or whoever, we talk. It's not, we don't just show up once a month for a meeting or come to a radio show or something. We call and talk. I mean, my wife gets on me because we'll be out to eat on a Saturday night at 6:30 and I look at the caller ID and it's Vi Lyles. And she knows that I'm going to take that call.
Yeah. Right.
Because that's the relationships that we have. And that's how we've been able to collaborate as a county.
Right.
Because all 7 mayors talk. And I think that's so important. But I think the thing that's most unique about that is our elected boards talk to each other too. And
they do.
That's how we get stuff done in North Mecklenburg is that our board members, aside from us, and it's no prodding that we as mayors say, hey, so-and-so, you need to call so-and-so in Huntersville or Cornelius or Davidson. That's not, they just do it on their own.
They do.
And because that, again, we don't have all the answers. They don't have all the answers, but the answer I need in Davidson might be sitting on somebody's desk in Huntersville.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we set up those, I can remember when I got elected, and I think you and I got elected at the same time as mayor, didn't we, Rusty? We started back on those 4-town meetings, pulling these 4 towns together once a quarter. And that has just been invaluable to create this synergy between the boards. Because you're right, they do talk to each other, and I want them talking to each other. I think that's awesome. I think we're all the better for it, and we all learn from each other's, I guess, good things and mistakes. And that just makes a difference. It really has made a huge difference, and something I'm committed to continuing as we move forward in the future. It will make a difference for our 3 towns.
Oh, it does.
It
And
does,
Mooresville.
for sure. Yeah, and we're the town of Huntersville rejoined Metro Mayors, and we've become more active with the League of Municipalities, which are all of our boards go to those events and trainings. And I think that that time away from town also helps solidify the relationships and helps keep those lines of communication open, and that's what really makes the area strong.
It really does, and that relationship we have with mayors throughout the state, it's a great learning experience, and I've totally enjoyed my participation in there. And I'm on the board actually of the Metro Mayors. You should be, Christy. I mean, probably will be.
I'll be at some point. They're going to get me.
They're going to get you. I know they will.
I keep showing up. They're going to go, okay, you're up, lady.
That's right. You get the check mark for sure.
Yep.
So, but anyway, that I just can't say how good it feels to have this relationship going, particularly here in North Mecklenburg, because I mean we abut each other. I mean where Cornelius stops, Huntersville starts, and where Cornelius stops, Davidson starts, and it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. It's really important too. I think people don't realize how important it is to have those open lines of communication and the relationship that keeps things moving. Because there's what road changes we make in Huntersville impacts both directions, and what roads changes y'all make impacts in our direction. And people are always talking about traffic and the buildup of traffic and what's going on, and it's because we always know what the other town is doing that we can address those things and keep things moving. And our town managers too are all buddies.
Absolutely.
And so they work so well together. So if we're not there, they're there to stand in our place and represent each of us with the same passion and dedication and open mind that we have. And so that really helps keep things going too.
And one of the things that I'm really hopeful for as we move into hopefully the transit tax passing and one day the red line happening is that, we can work together on the land use of the areas as it relates to Huntersville, Cornelius, and Davidson, and plan properly. We've got an opportunity there. We've got a great opportunity there. We don't want to be a South End or a NODI or any of that. I don't think that's anybody's goal here in North Mecklenburg.
Nope.
But we do want quality development, whatever it's going to be. And I think we all agree that. And that's exciting.
Well, you also want attainability for folks that want to live here. I mean, there are wonderful, wonderful very talented young folks that are coming here with advanced degrees, working with corporate America, but they can't afford to live here, or they can't get to Charlotte from here.
Yep.
Totally.
And
Yep.
you look at Lowe's, for example, with their IT campus in the South End and the corporate headquarters in Mount Morn. There's no pipeline for those people to interchange. If you look at the new atrium that just opened up in Cornelius on 21 and Atrium Main or some of the other atrium, there's no network for them to be able to go to and from without
Right.
getting in the gridlock that is on 77.
Yep.
So again, this is, you got to plan for the future.
Yeah, and a big concern a lot of people have raised is like displacement of our historic Black communities, and I think that's something that we can all three work together to make sure that we're protecting those areas and making sure those people get to stay in their homes and they aren't pushed out, by gentrification and development. Because nobody here wants that at this table. I know we want our areas to stay diverse, and want the folks who've lived there for hundreds of years to be able to stay and that have their family home stay there. And I think that'll be a priority for us as well.
And I think that priority is been emulated with the work that our towns are doing with Pottstown, with Smithville, and with Westside Davidson. I mean, we are all taking different measures, but we're all working very hard to make sure people are aging in place. We are making sure that developers are not coming in, buying land and tearing houses down to put up 2 McMansions. I get criticized sometimes for the fact that we bought 8 or 9 houses on the west side, but we've remodeled them. They weren't torn down and developed. We've qualified people, sold them back into our affordable housing program to allow people that want to call Davidson home. And you guys are doing the same thing in Cornelius and Huntersville, that want to be able to live in Huntersville or want to be able to live in Cornelius because of quality of life and good schools, to have that opportunity to do so.
Well, my biggest fear about that, and I do have a fear about it, and that is we're just not doing enough fast enough.
Yeah.
And, we're leaving some folks in bad spots, and, our CDC's working hard, but, I think we need to coordinate even better to make that the central force in moving the needle on affordable housing, because it's just not moving fast enough.
Well, and the support's there from our community.
I think it is too.
We did a tax increase 2 years ago, and we added a full penny on our property taxes, and that money goes directly to affordable housing. I didn't have a single person question that. Now, it only brings in about $700,000 a year, but you can use that for emergency home repairs and down payment assistance and things like that. You're not building a whole lot of affordable units with $700,000,
Right.
but it every little bit helps. I tell people, every affordable unit I get in Davidson moves the needle. It's a win.
It is.
It is.
So
Yeah, and we've been we're behind. The town of Huntersville is behind in our affordable housing plan, but we are definitely moving things forward there. And we have an exciting project coming up on our board on the 21st. We're voting on a co-op building that I can't wait to get that one off the ground, because it's going to really change the way, we hope it's going to change the way affordable housing is done in this region. And we want to emulate it in other places, and that project is going to be one to look forward as the model as we go forward. Well, thank you guys for being here.
Oh, it's been an awesome session. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. I just want to, before we log off, I just want to remind everybody to vote coming up. Early voting starts up in North Meck on October 23rd at the North Regional Library, the Whammer Center, the Davidson Town Hall, and the Cornelius Town Hall. And so make a plan to vote on October 23rd, and you have till November 1st to early vote, and then Election Day is November 4th, and vote at your own polling location. So thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. It's always good to see you. Thanks, everyone, for listening to Thrive Here Live for the town of Huntersville. Have a great week.
Thanks so much, Chris.
Thank you.
Better than ever before. 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.